Hello, everyone, and welcome to the off episode for the Wayward Dragon podcast, Wayward Dragon Reviews. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Kelsey. And
In this episode, we kind of go through books and stuff that we've been reading, TV shows, video games, anything else we've been up to, and just kind of talk about it so we can get into the meat and potatoes of our regular episode.
Yeah.
I only finished one book, but it was the one book I needed to do my new goal for the year. So I have finished 75 books this year.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. Don't know how courageous I'm going to be with the books that I do for next year, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think my goal is going to be 52 again, and then if I get over it, woo!
Adjust it up like I did this year.
Yeah, it's just because of the wedding and stuff. So it's like,
well, then you could just read books about weddings and
the amount of articles and stuff that I read on wedding things is it's ridiculous. The amount of Pinterest boards and like I was telling you earlier before we started this, I feel like I'm mailing Hogwarts letters because I'm hand sealing all of my save the dates with wax.
Well, that's what you get for wanting to be fancy and wax sealing all your invites.
It looks so cool though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's shiny.
No, it does look cool.
It's shiny paper. It's a nice shiny little envelope. It's cool. Such a pain in the butt. So I'm gonna have to listen to books while I do this stuff.
So what books have you finished? Have you finished any?
I finished 3. So I have. So I felt like because I read a lot of murder mystery, that I felt like I needed to start with the OG, Agatha Christie. So I read, and then there were none. It went by another name for a really long time, like the Indians in the Cupboard or something.
Well, the Indian in the Cupboard is a completely different book.
It's like an Indian. It's a. I don't remember what the other name was. But it's something like that. It went by a different name for a long time. But that was just all sorts of fucked up. That was... So basically, it follows a poem. And all these people are invited to this island. And all of these people have been acquitted of crimes. Horrendous crimes. And then they slowly start dying in the ways of the poem. So, but it gets really, it's not gory, but it's a little gruesome. I didn't expect her to be that gross. Because it's written not in our time. So that was a little eye-opening. So I'm slowly making my way through all of her books.
Okay.
And then I told you I picked up a book from the library where it was based out of Hawaii. And it's called The Fire Thief by Debra Bokur. That was a very interesting read because the detective series that I tend to read has a paranormal undertone to them. And to read something with Hawaiian culture, that was a nice... it was a nice different thing because of their culture is obviously not like our culture. So it the whole respecting the dead and respecting nature and just all that stuff was really refreshing. It was just so nice to read something different because all the paranormal detective series, it's always Christian based, I guess is right what I want to say.
Well, because it's always the devil and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's always that sort of stuff. So to have that Hawaiian culture that was nice. And I picked up the next book in that series called The Bone Thief, I think. I've got it behind me.
Okay, that actually sounds familiar.
Yeah, The Bone Field. So that's the next one.
Like, I believe The Bone Thief is a movie. Or a movie, a book.
Yeah. But yeah, that was because I read The Fire Thief. So that was a nice like different thing to read that had like a different undertones. Because the main detective, she's like a spiritual healer, like a spiritual healer, but also like a healer within her community, and how she struggles with coming to terms with like this is who she is, but also solving this murder and making sure that that boy is respected, and his family gets what they need from her as a spiritual healer. So it was definitely refreshing to read. And then I'm still reading my paranormal smut series, so I read The Unseen, which takes place in the Alamo. So that was kind of cool, and have like a ghost actually like be intelligent and like actually have conversations with the main character. So that was kind of cool. But
so apparently there's like 6 different books that actually go by the name Bone Thief.
Oh. I was like, it's called The Bone Field. So I'm very interested. Oh, hold on. I gotta show you this other one I picked up at the library. Sorry, that's what I do when I get off work. It's called The Ghost Eaters by Clay McLean Chapman.
I mean, I wouldn't imagine ghosts would be very filling.
Well, so like the synopsis on like the back of like the inside, basically there's a drug that you like. It sounds like it's like a hallucinogenic, so like Molly or like LSD or something that you take while you're doing a seance, and you can see ghosts, but like it has some really weird permanent side effects.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. But the cover, that got me. I was like, what is that?
No, that is pretty cool.
Like, so you tell me not to judge a book by its cover. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
What was your last book of the year?
So the last book that I read was called Krampus, the Yule Lord by Brom. I figured it was fitting.
Yeah.
Amazing book. Like, a really, really good book. Basically, so Brom, I love him as an author. He's kind of like, a lot of the stuff he does is a mixture of different cultures, but a lot of it circles around parts of the South and parts of the Appalachian, which, who I am and how I was raised and all that. I relate to that.
Yeah.
But he always puts in like a lot of the struggles and stuff that people in the Appalachian deal with.
Okay.
But he's an artist and a author, so he's got like all the art that's on the covers or inside any of his books. He's actually done a few children's books as well, but they're very macabre and creepy.
Okay.
So Krampus takes place predominantly in, I want to say it was West Virginia. It's either Virginia or West Virginia. I'm drawing a blank right now, but anyways.
It's like they're practically the same.
Yeah, it starts off as a guy who's, he just got home from a gig. He lives in a trailer, like a rundown trailer park. He just got home from a gig because he's a musician who apparently is a fairly talented musician, but doesn't have enough faith in himself to actually pursue it. And so he just works at bars and stuff.
Okay.
His wife recently ran off, left him, and took his daughter with her.
Okay.
And so he's trying to, trying to fight and get her back, or get them back. But of course, the small town they live in,
everybody knows everything.
Well, one of the 2 cops is the one that is who she's staying with.
Oh,
who she's kind of like hooking up with. And because of him and his history and stuff, and he's had some hard run-ins with the law and trying to, keep his head afloat and provide for his family. He's done some questionable things, and so, there's a whole bit of drama there. But he ends up taking it and getting a really strange sight when he gets home, and he hasn't even been drinking. So and well, I'll go on that rant in a minute. So he hasn't even been drinking, but so he sees like a guy dressed as Santa booking it, and he sees these weird creatures following him, and so he's like, "What the fuck was that?" And they're like literally like fighting with Santa, like fucking like fisticuffs, punching him, trying to stab him, trying to kill him.
Don't hurt
And
Santa.
so they take it and he flies off. Next thing he knows, there's a big thump that hits the hood of his truck. It's one of these creatures. It fell.
It's like that one, the Tim Allen Santa movies.
Bit different. Bit different. So then there's a big like thud in the top of his trailer, and he thinks there's another one in his trailer. But he ends up finding Santa's bag, like Santa's magic sack, in his trailer, so he can give his daughter all sorts of shit for Christmas.
Okay.
And then he ends up running from these creatures that were trying to get Santa because they were going after Santa's bag.
Oh.
And then he ends up teaming up with them, and they were working for Krampus, and he ends up, working alongside Krampus, and there's like a whole thing of they go into like different things for the origin of Christmas and how, Christmas, a lot of iconography in Christmas came from different pagan beliefs, and Krampus, while he looks like the devil, may or may not be a bad guy. Santa may or may not be a bad guy. There are a lot of subjective things through the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun little holiday story that I would highly recommend. For more information for our listeners for Krampus and stuff like that, you can actually listen to our Yule episode we recorded last year.
Yeah.
Where we talk about all sorts of different creatures and traditions.
Yeah.
That has to do with Yule.
Yeah. That's actually your episode. You talk about all that stuff.
I was trying to figure out which episode it was.
Ooh.
That
I don't know.
It is episode 7 from last year.
Okay. Episode 7.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely check that out if you're interested. You might learn a thing or two. Other than that, I actually started watching this really... Well, to get back on my rant earlier, what was I going to rant about? Oh, that's what I was going to rant about. So I've never understood why, and they bring this up like in the book, where they say, well, hopefully people will, assume that it's because of alcohol, why they're seeing stuff. I've never understood that. I don't understand that trope. Like,
I don't get that either.
I've drank, casually and socially, and I've gotten drunk at parties and stuff, but I've been drinking for longer than I'm legally allowed to say. But, and I've never I've never had an addiction problem with it or anything like that, but I've drank. And I've never hallucinated from alcohol. So
Yeah.
I've never understood that trope.
Where does that come from?
I don't know.
Like, because that to me is like a weird...
Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope. Figure if I could spell alcohol.
Well, while you're looking that up, I've also been watching this new show. I guess it's been out a couple months, but on Netflix, called The Imperfect.
Okay.
And I've been meaning to watch it for a while, but what really got me is one of my top anime, One Piece. They are actually making a live action movie of, which I am very iffy because Netflix, or they're doing a series. I think they're doing a series. But a lot of the casting is decent. And I was looking at the guy who was playing the main character in
Yeah.
it, and he actually plays in the Imperfect. So I'm like, oh, I've been meaning to watch that. So I figured I'd give it a try and see how this kid's acting is. And the Imperfect is a really freaking cool show. It's urban fantasy.
Okay.
It's the main three characters it circles around. Uh, one of them is Ace,
Okay.
which is pretty cool. But not so much from there what their uh, situation is, because they all ended up with some sort of power because of experiments that were done on them. And I'm not going to get into all the details in case anyone wants to watch it. But the three of them, the chick who is Ace,
Mm-hmm.
is actually a succubus and releases pheromones that she can't like control at this point. So people are just attracted to her and are trying to like attack her and all sorts of other stuff. And as you can imagine, that would be like, I mean,
That's
I'm sure as an ace person you can relate to this. That would be absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, that's like the word. That's like the one thing I
Yeah,
don't want.
yeah, yeah,
Like, and just subconsciously like, not have control. Like that is my absolute worst fear. Ooh,
yeah.
I
So
feel
all
so
based
bad
off
for
her
her.
pheromones and stuff. The guy that's playing in the One Piece series, the live action One Piece series, is a chupacabra. So he
Okay.
transforms into a chupacabra, and he kind of like figures out his power a little bit, and it does like a whole like it's like a werewolf type situation.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And then the other person in the trio, and I was cracking jokes about this. I'm like, they literally just took my soundtrack off Spotify and turned it, or my playlist off Spotify and turned it into a soundtrack for the show,
Probably.
because like she's a punk girl.
Okay.
She
Okay.
also has heightened hearing and is a banshee, so she can like
Oh
do
shit.
like make shit shatter and stuff and attack people with her voice.
Oh
But
shit.
which she doesn't really have control over the hearing thing, and so it's kind of a massive issue.
Yeah.
She spends most of the series thus far wearing uh, noise canceling headphones, and even then she can hear
Like pretty
people
damn good.
like she can hear people miles away,
Oh my
and
god.
everything is super super loud.
That's horrible.
But yeah, and she's in a punk band, so tell me how that works out for her.
Yeah,
She's kind of at this point
that's
not participating in the band,
yeah, I wouldn't. Especially if you have
but
a cute hearing.
yeah. But I'm just like with the intro and outros that they do and the random songs they have in it. Most of them I'm just jamming out, singing along with it. It's like I know the song. I know every word of the song.
That's so weird. Like that's a weird nerd moment to have when you know the soundtrack. So
So,
to answer
yes, do you
your
have an
thing
answer for
about
it?
alcohol, so it's a super rare thing to happen when alcohol produces hallucinations. However, a lot of times it's auto, so it's something that you're going to hear versus something that you can see, and it's after you've had long-term alcohol abuse. And then because it says it usually presents itself with acoustic, um verbal hallucinations, delusions, mood disturbances arising in clear consciousness, and sometimes may progress to chronic form, and it will mimic schizophrenia. So, but it's like they said it's like a super rare thing um to occur during or after a period of heavy alcohol consumption. So you had to be like pretty fucking shit faced for a long time. And it sounds like it's something that you're hearing versus something that you're going to physically see.
Yeah, which is why I guess it makes sense that most of the time in tropes that you see in movies and stuff, it's always like an old homeless guy who's like hugging the
Yeah.
bottle and sees something and he's just like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah. So that's kind of but it's a rare compilation of chronic alcohol abuse. Um and then just your own personal demons.
Yeah,
Kind of is kind of what it sounds like. So to answer your question, and it's gonna be auto. It's gonna be something auto that you're going to hear or something that you're gonna see.
yeah.
So to
Huh.
answer everybody's question. So then yeah, it
Well,
doesn't. That's
so I guess I'll change my gripe then to where now that I know where it's coming from, it's not stupid that they have it. It is
yeah,
kind of dumb though that that's always the go-to of, hey, this
yeah,
is gonna cause this, this, and this. It's like that, really?
yeah. Like yeah, because I mean, when you consume a lot of alcohol, your vision kind of does get blurry. So I can see kind of taking the visual hallucinations out of it and just make it like an something that you can hear.
Maybe the
So
world's always been blurry. Alcohol helps us see it for what it really is.
it's like it it's like it makes you so you don't have your filter anymore. That's
Come on,
definitely what
man.
happens.
Come on, man. You're not hallucinating. You're seeing the world for where it really is.
Yeah. They always say to believe whatever comes out of the person when they're drunk versus when they're sober.
Yeah. Hey, drunk tongue tells no lies.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. You never know.
I don't know.
Never
I think
ever
there's
know.
probably some sociopaths out there who can lie to people when they're shit faced.
Oh yeah. Applaud. Good for you guys. Like good for you guys. My God. Have you watched anything else?
That's, I think, really all that I've watched recently. I did watch, finally watched the Black Adam movie by, part of the DCEU, and it wasn't the worst thing they've ever made, but it also wasn't the best.
I've heard a
Uh,
lot that
the
it's
writing
somewhere in
was the
between.
writing was better than a lot of the other stuff because you could just see what was going on.
Yeah.
So,
Huh?
and that's the long running joke of DC movies being dark because you can't see anything that's going on.
You can.
But it's not the subject matter; it's just the shitty writing. But uh, the acting was not great. I mean, it had The Rock in it, but I'm not. The Rock is very hit or miss for me
Yeah.
on how he does in the role.
Yeah.
He did decent in the role. Um, I don't think it was kind of mediocre through the whole thing, but
Yeah.
I did enjoy how there were several parts in the movie that they delved into different situations that were very much morally driven.
Okay.
So that was nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really the only thing I've watched recently. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything else.
Got you up early today. Not really.
Not really.
No.
My brain's just not functioning since we had a work holiday party yesterday, crash last night.
Yeah.
So
'Tis the season.
yeah,
'Tis the season. Yeah. I think that concludes our reviews. Yeah.
yep. So I think we have one more episode for our current series on our regular podcast, dealing with spiritualism,
Yep.
and then we're gonna be talking about some books, some lost books, some occult books, individuals who influenced or had part in producing those occult books.
Yeah.
Uh, I will be headlining those episodes,
Yeah.
so hopefully they will be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I might
Yeah.
even look into seeing if I can get my hands on a copy or two of some of those books if there's any that are still in current print and read through them
Yeah. That would be cool.
because it's me.
Yeah.
I need to get a jump start on my books for next year. No,
You do. It's like we need to set our goals for next year. Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, I hope everyone has a good holiday season. Happy Yule, winter solstice, or whatever it is that you do celebrate. Because we've hit that point in the year where there's literally celebrations for everybody going on. So hope
Yeah,
everyone.
there's like between the end of November and the middle of January, there are literally like I think it's like 46 different
Yeah.
holidays going on
Yeah.
globally.
Yeah. So it's
So
like,
whatever you celebrate, wherever you celebrate,
yeah.
have
Hope,
fun,
yeah.
happy
Travel safe.
holidays, have a safe New Year's.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
drink to the point where you're hallucinating.
Yes. Yeah. And remember to keep those boundaries with toxic family members.
Yep,
Just because it's the holidays does not give them a free pass to be a shitty person.
yep, and it's okay to not be around them. You
Yeah,
don't have
for
to
the
feel
holidays.
bad for not giving them what they want just because they're toxic and if they make you feel bad, fuck them, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Like you're worth more than
Seriously.
that.
Yeah. And people always think, oh, it's the holidays. No, no. The holidays does not give them a free pass to be a shitty person. Nope.
Nope.
Nope, nope. Yeah.
So until next time, I'm Johnny.
And I'm Kelsey. Bye.
Bye.